With me is the author of Get to Be Happy and founder of the Get To Principle, a happiness coaching service for people striving to have a more fulfilled life. Having partied with Bon Jovi, worked with Mother Teresa, and experienced the loss of his daughter, Ted speaks about stepping into the life-changing attitude of saying, I get to, as opposed to I have to. Ted, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Carl. Really, really great to be here.
So tell me, why is this topic of yours so important?
I think we're living in some challenging times in the world. We all are, the world itself and then each of us personally. And what I find is that a lot of people are looking for happiness, looking for fulfillment and a way to get away from the worry and stress of life. So my topic, Get to Be Happy, and the Get To Principle really is resonating with people. And I'm finding that bringing it out, the response has been really fantastic.
You mentioned worry.
Yes.
If you watch the news, there's plenty of things to be worried about.
There are.
You can see that there's a lot of suffering, not just in this country, but around the world.
Yes.
What is your secret to happiness?
So my secret is pretty simple. It's shifting from saying, I have to I get to. And it came to me one day, I was doing the dishes, and I was scrubbing, I gotta do the dishes, I have to do this. And it dawned on me, I realized, well, wait a second, 20,000 people are gonna die of starvation on the planet today. Can I have some compassion for that? And as I kept doing the dishes, I realized, wow, I just had a great meal. Can I have some appreciation for that? And in that moment, I was like, I get to do this. And a little while later, my 11-year-old son said, Daddy, will you play? And I said, oh, yeah. Oh, and I said, I gotta go play with my kid. And I said, wait a second, I don't gotta, I get to. How many people don't, that are experiencing some challenging times with their children or what have you? And I also had great appreciation for my little 11-year-old. And from that moment on, I just started saying, I get to do this. And it really shifted how I view life and how I am in the world. And what I also realized is that I had been doing it just kind of out of default. Every once in a while when I was feeling successful or feeling happy, I realized that I was saying, I get to do this. And in this moment, I realized that being deliberate about it could change your life. And I also realized that I could share that with people, and that's what I'm here to do, and it's really, really fun.
Shifting perspective.
Shifting perspective.
Important.
It is, that's what it's all about.
So you've met a few mildly famous people.
Couple people
Bon
here and there.
Jovi,
Yes.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
First of all, what it's like working with them, I imagine it's pretty amazing, but how are they different as to non-famous people?
What really has come to me, I did a deal for John when I was living in Japan. It was a slot machine deal. And so I had the opportunity when John and the band came over to Tokyo to hang out with them for a week during a tour. And at first, John was he was standoffish. He was a bit of a jerk. And I was like, who is this guy to be like that? But then, as I got to know him, he became just a really great guy. We were just rapping. And what I realized with meeting John and Jack Nicklaus and Celine Dion is at first the famous, they put up a wall because they're approached by everybody all the time, and they have to by necessity to protect themselves, I suppose. But as you get to know them, they become just people like you and me, just wanting to be happy, just trying to figure out this thing we're doing. I mean, we're born and then we die, and in between, we get to do this thing called life. And all of us are just trying to figure it out the best we can. And listen, working with John after a while, he was just great. We laughed, we had fun. I also went to Calcutta. I had the opportunity to go and work in Mother Teresa's orphanages and in Kalighat, which is the place where people go to die. And I met some incredible suffering. But I also, in the orphanages, I met the children there who were joyful. And in the midst of all that, they were making the choice, because they didn't know differently, to be happy. And I ran into Mother Teresa, and we had a quick chat, and she held my hands, and she said, bless you, my child. And I just realized, wow, this woman is also just trying to be happy and bringing joy to others. And so in the end, what I find is that famous people in orphanages, it doesn't matter. We're all just humans having a human experience, looking to be happy. And in fact, I'll quote the Dalai Lama, who says, after much consideration, I believe the purpose of life is to find happiness.
It's a great quote.
It's a pretty cool quote from a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been all around the world. You've seen fantastic things, and you've seen things that a lot of people don't get to see, suffering firsthand. And this has, I'm guessing, has probably helped learn about shifting your perspective.
Yes. Yeah. It's really, I'll tell you, what I'm learning as I'm going through this journey is that everybody is just looking, how can I get out of the worry, we just spoke about earlier, the worry and the stress that we all feel at times. And if you have, there's meditation. I just heard something that at Yale, the #1 class is a class called happiness. 1,200 students, a quarter of the undergrads there at Yale, take this class called happiness. And it just shows that we're all looking for that. We're all looking for a way to break free. And I think what one of the problems is that in our society, in most societies, happiness is taught as something you get from the outside. More things, being more beautiful, having stuff, right? But the truth is happiness is within us, and it's a choice. In fact, being happy is one of the most important choices we can make at any given time as a human. Every moment you have a choice. Do I want to be happy or not? It's not easy. And I never say, look, there's people grieving out there. I was in Santa Barbara recently with some of the folks in the fires and the mudslides. It's horrendous. And there's so many different situations going on. And I'm not saying, look, get over it. It's not all Pollyanna. Oh, hey, let's just be happy. I'm not speaking about that. But I am saying, look, if you're looking for happiness, and you can make the shift, and one way to do that is by saying, wait, I get to do this. I had an experience a number of years ago. My daughter died at birth. And in the hospital with her, and as they took her away, we grieved, my wife and I, we grieved. It was challenging. But even then, I had just a little bit of, wait, I got to experience that being for the short amount of time that I did. And it was powerful. It shifted me over. And it didn't mean I didn't grieve, and we went through the process, and for everybody goes through it as a human, right? We grieve. And sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it could be a lifetime. There's no judgment on that. But my message is, if you can, just make that, wait, I got to spend so much time with my mom before she passed away. Wow. Instead of I have to experience this grieving, I get to. And it's really, as simple as that may sound, it's really effective.
You mentioned a university or college that teaches happiness.
Yeah.
You also have a process for coaching
people
on how to be happy. Talk about that for a minute.
I'll tell you, this is a really powerful, simple, it's something I call the get to mantra. And it goes like this. In any given situation or any given thought you have, you say, I get to. And in that moment, when you say I get to, this is what happens. The brain automatically goes to feeling compassion for others that don't have what you have, no matter what situation you're in. And it also goes to feeling great appreciation for what you do have. And your mind gets quiet. I get to. The next step is smiling. See, when you smile, when you deliberately smile, positive endorphins are released in your body and you feel joy. That's a natural physiological reaction to smiling. And then, after you smile, then you do what you're going to do. You feel in control of your life. You step into your power. So it's, I get to, you smile, and then you do what you're going to do. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. That simple process, if you will, is the secret to finding more fulfillment and happiness. You can apply it to cleaning the cat box. Wait, I got to. Wait, I have to. No, I get to. Smile. Oh, you feel a little joy. And then you do what you're doing. And it really changes things. You go from the victim of I have to, I gotta, to the powerful stance of I get to do this.
In the mornings before my son goes to school, I try to remind him, I say, don't forget to smile at someone today.
Love that.
Because it's amazing. I have tested this. You go to someplace public, you're in line, cashier, whatever, just smiling. Most of the time, the other person will smile back.
Yes. It's the truth. Smiling it's contagious.
It is.
Right? And if you can, and I think that back to even when you're grieving or when you're having challenging times, look, you need to go through what you go through. But I believe that as soon as you can, when you can move over and into being happy, bring yourself back to that. That's what the world needs from all of us. And the more any of us can make that choice and shift over and say, wow, okay, and smile, people around you feel that smile, and then that smile gets spread out. And it's really contagious, and it's beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Mother Teresa says, peace begins with a smile. I love that quote from her.
That's great.
Yeah.
Happiness should be our default state.
Yeah.
I feel like when we're born, that's what we are. We're born happy.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
It's almost, I can see that choice. It is, you would think it would be an obvious choice to be happy.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. And I think as we get older, in children, I know for myself, I have a 10 and 13-year-old, and they pretty much live in this state of joy. When I was in the orphanage at Mother Teresa's place in Calcutta, the kids, I mean, I spent some time with this one 5-year-old blind girl, and she was just joyful. She didn't know that she was supposed to suffer. And I just find as we get older, the challenges of life, things come on, we start thinking, and it's real. I'm not saying that that's not real, but I am saying, as you mentioned, that we're born with this happiness in us, and it's up to us to find a way to bring it out and really step in and live that.
But Ted, how can people find out more about what you do?
The easiest way is to go to gettobehappy.com. There you'll find my book, Get to Be Happy, which in it I share the stories of how I hung out with Bon Jovi, met Mother Teresa. I share the story about my child passing away and my parents' death. All of it's in there. And in the end, you come away saying, wow, I get to do this. It's a very powerful message. I also offer happiness coaching, and you can also access that on the website as well. So it's a really simple process, gettobehappy.com.
Excellent. Ted, thanks so much for being here.
Great, Carl. Thank you.